Hello and welcome to the 126th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your regular-sized host, Chris, joined by our other regular-sized host, Jordan, and for the first time in a very long time, our small co-host, Alex.
I've shrunk.
He is short.
The computer is exploding.
The second we go to make anything, the fucking computer has a stroke. It's good now. It fixed itself.
Yeah. If the audio cuts, we all just died in a horrific accident. So
yeah, that was fucking strange, dude. That was so weird.
I don't know what disconnected.
It looked like a display because it was shifting all the fucking tiles around.
I don't know. The computer just had a mild stroke. It is what it is. Alex is looking very short and diminutive today.
Yeah.
Despite not being the shortest person in the room.
Nope.
But he's just in the mustard chair, and the mustard chair has no support or anything left.
Yeah.
So this is what he's got to deal
It's
with.
a world-class chair. I would say his chair's probably better than ours, though.
Yeah.
These chairs kind of suck.
Yeah, I agree.
And, Alex looks pretty comfy, pretty relaxed.
I'm doing all right.
So, Jordan, where do we put this god-awful thing?
So, usual formalities out of the way. We are on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS Feed. It's all linked below. It's also YouTube, where we have a video platform. That video platform is also on Spotify. You can actually see the mustard chair in all its glory, and how tiny Alex looks in this frame. And as always, reach out to us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and most importantly, death threats. There's also the YouTube comment section, and Instagram and TikTok, which... if you haven't seen our Christmas special, look out on the TikTok. I'm going to work on some shorts for that. So.
Interesting. Yeah, Alex he's got like Diglett energy right now. Like he's coming out of the ground.
Can I make it worse? Hold on.
He's so tiny. He's so little.
Oh, that's not comfortable at all.
Little dude, little guy. It's like we have Oscar on the show, and he has his own chair. Like, he'd be like almost that tall.
I'm like a dwarf.
The Dwarven Podcast. So, Alex, Chris and I, we're here every week, right? We're
Usually.
obligated.
Yeah.
No, not usually.
I mean, I don't think
Always.
anyone's obligating you to do this.
We're obligated. Actually, there's a contract. It's out there.
From who? God?
Yes. Yeah, he
All right,
came
then.
down. He said, "Listen, you bitches better make this
It's
show."
like divine intervention shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
see.
actually in the Bible, the New Testament.
Yeah. Yeah. He told me it was a New Testament, but I guess we heard different things.
Oh, you're going to hell now.
Anyway, you're not obligated, although you've been asked numerous times, but you always have to relax. You just gotta relax.
Oh, I'm fucking relaxing.
So, with all the relaxing you've done, Alex, what have you been doing exactly? Define relax. What's been going on?
All right, let's see. So, last episode, you said 103, right?
Yeah, Alex was on episode 103 for the audience's knowledge. Just 23 episodes ago.
Indeed. So, let's see. What happened between then and now? Then it was August. I don't know, somewhere in the middle of August. Now it's at the end of December.
No, it was not. It was the middle of July.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn.
It was like 5 months and 3 weeks. No,
What did we do in
no.
August then?
Nothing.
We went to Maine.
Jordan and I went to Maine. You weren't involved.
All right,
in
I'm
anything.
just losing my grasp on time, I guess. So it was July
I
then.
was like, it was sometime in January.
Yeah. It was July then. All right, let's see. So in between then and now, as Chris got skull-fucked with school, I got a little bit screwed with school, just programming stuff. And as Chris has lamented about programming, I can imagine you know what I'm going
love
through too.
programming.
Yeah. So that took up most of the time, and I only had 3 classes. You had what, like 5 classes, 4?
I had at the peak, I had 6, but one of them was that 5. There was like a
The half year class.
yeah. There's there's this dumbass 0 credit class we have to take that's not a whole semester. So that was my 6th class, but I
Yeah.
finished that really early.
So I only had 3 classes, but I did all my shit on the weekends, which is when they do the podcast. So that's why I wasn't really
Every other
around.
Saturday, baby.
Yeah. Let's see what else happened.
It's been
Work.
5.5 months, man.
Yeah, I worked with you assholes. I saw you way more than I wanted to.
Yep.
That's just common. That happens. Yeah, that's about it. My life ain't much. I'll tell you that. I just kind of exist.
Anything you've been up to recently, perhaps?
Yes. Let's see. Over the summer, I don't know if I talked about this at all. I had to have talked about it. I did a Red Dead 2 playthrough, so I finished that. That was a pretty good game. And I see you have some stuff on the docket here today.
I do.
To talk about
and I
Red
don't
Dead.
think you did talk about that on the
No?
podcast. Last we were all together.
Maybe I hadn't
103,
started it yet.
I don't think you had started it.
No, maybe not. So yeah, I did that. Did a whole playthrough of Red Dead. But we have a lot of episodes about Red Dead, so I don't think
Yeah.
I need to really talk much about that.
Yeah, no, I had one funny story that I thought Chris would get a cackle out of, and then you, obviously, before I knew you were coming on.
Yeah.
About my Red Dead playthrough. You want me to tell that first? Get it out of the way?
If you want.
I have something related to talk about school. Okay.
All right.
So, this whole project that I had done.
The program one?
Yeah. The big app project. The last time we recorded was like 2 days after the semester ended. So, like, grades were still pending. So, grades went in like a few days after that. Okay. I got just given an A+ on this project. And I was like, okay, interesting. Let me do some little investigation work. Okay? I'm gonna do a little investigate. I'm kind of an investigator.
Bit of a PI.
So the way I had my authentication set up in the app was through Google's Firebase.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, you can check, like, user information. Like
The data they did, yeah.
Yeah, it gives you, like, the user's email and, like, an encrypted version of their password. And I
Yeah.
also have, like, a database set up that has, like, some other information about the users. No new entries were added between the time I last added an entry and now.
So they didn't even
So,
review
meaning
it.
my professor didn't even use my fucking app.
Is there any way you know of he could have looked at it or like looked at just the coding? You had to submit.
Well,
the
I submitted the code, yeah.
So that's probably
So he could have just looked at the code, but just looking at the code doesn't
that
tell you that
doesn't-
the fucking thing
yeah.
functions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
you-
is there a way he could have taken your code and like made it simulate in another
he
program?
could have bypassed the login
But why?
technically, but like why? When the login and authentication was a part of the project requirements.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah, that's fucking weird. It's literally like it wasn't used.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So he just, thanks for the A+, I guess, but like, at least use the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had this professor as well, and I can't say it's unexpected, so.
Yeah.
Because he did the same thing to me way back in freshman year, I think? Yeah.
So I also had another class with him where I had to do a different Android project, a much shorter one. And he just gave me 100 on that. And on the final, after, mind you, bitching about, he put up an announcement. He was bitching about people doing their final, saying, well, this is a take-home final, so you should be spending at least double the allotted time that you would have in class, which the allotted time is 2 hours. I said, I'm not spending 4 hours on 3 questions, buddy. I spent like 45 minutes per question.
Yeah.
And he gave me 100 on that. But I guess some people were submitting like 10 to 15 word answers.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous.
So like they just wrote like a sentence for each one.
Really scraping the bottom of the barrel of intelligence with your classmates, huh?
Yeah. People don't give a fuck anymore. Ever since the whole COVID thing happened, I've noticed this. No one cares anymore about anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, you definitely do start to see that in many industries, many places. But yeah. So you ended up getting an A+ on that. So was it worth it? No, probably not.
Was
right?
it worth the A+? Sure. But was this grade worth the time? Also, like, I don't really care. Like, it's not like something I was particularly invested in other than the fact that I had to get it done.
Yeah.
So, if I had gotten like a much lower grade but still passed, I would still be in the same boat I'm in now.
Yeah.
So
It's not like there was any extra weight on it. It's like, oh my god, if I don't get A+, I fail.
exactly.
It was just another grade
Yeah.
in the book. Well, congrats to that anyway. Fucking dude fucking simulated the code in his mind. You're just like,
Yep.
all right, yeah, he's good.
I have to. I'm having a bit of a nose leakage issue. I gotta go deal with that.
How
This
dare
guy.
you? How dare you? I was actually gonna say, if you can't hear / tell, Chris is a little sick. He's a sick boy. He's a sick fella.
It's my dad's fault.
It's his dad's fault. All his dad's fault. But Alex,
Jordan.
my fly's down.
That's a Jordan moment if I've ever heard one.
I don't know why it's down. It just
This
is.
guy's just been sitting here dick swinging the whole fucking time.
I don't think you know how flies work. They go. Bzzz.
Yeah, they bzzz, exactly. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, you showed up for the assignment.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I got an A+ in flyology. I know what I'm talking about.
Flyology.
I can confirm.
Mm-hmm.
You were in that class with him, shared class.
Yep.
So, if you can't tell, I'm also wearing the Red Dead 2 shirt today. I kind of did this on purpose because I found this in the back of my closet, and I was like, shit, I don't think I've worn that shit since, like, high school or, like, the start of the show. And I knew I had something to talk about with Red Dead 2. Chris, I had some funny fucking moments in Red Dead 2.
Really?
So I'm doing a replay. I won't go into the nitty-gritty of that other than, like, a couple basic things. But I'm doing a replay. I'm almost done with it. I'm at the very end of Chapter 6 or whatever. And one of the funniest things ever in that game happened to me. And you know in Saint Denis, when you first show up and you're looking for Bronte and the kid steals your fucking bag?
Yeah.
I had a goal. My goal was to get the secret cutscene where you catch him.
You catch him, yeah.
Right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, I know his trajectory. Let me just, like, cut him off, right? So you know the part where he goes, like, up a staircase to the left, around a patio, and then goes onto a roof? Dude, I go up on the roof with him. He starts going straight, and then he cuts a right. So I start going diagonal, right? Straight line's the shortest way to any destination, right? I'm like, I fucking got this. He hops off the roof. I hop off, but I don't, like, walk off. I jump. Arthur does, like, a fucking front flip, eats shit in front of the kid. And he's just on his back, and the kid's running like, oh, you can't catch me, old man. And then I get up and I start running, and the fucking trolley hits me. It just kills me. Just kills me instantly. I literally landed next to the trolley. The camera was perfectly panned in a way that as I got up and ran, you couldn't see anything. And then all of a sudden you just heard, doom, and he's like this. He gets hit by the trolley. This is the first time in a long time I've just been laughing at a TV, just dying. Oh, it was so good. But I did end up getting the alternate cutscene, might I add. And a lot sooner than that actual incident. I fucked up the first time, and then, I ended up getting the alternate cutscene. So
Nice.
And like I'd mentioned to you, Chris, on the last episode, I think, I've been doing that sort of parabola effect to the personality. I didn't go total evil in the beginning. I don't think Arthur's ever been a totally evil guy. But I kept it kind of neutral, and then now I'm like, oh, Lord, save me. Please save me.
Yeah, I did a similar thing with my playthrough, where after he got diagnosed, I kind of was like, all right, full good.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah. I also noticed something, and I don't know if this is like a story thing or if it's to really evoke like the whole Dutch going crazy, but like more than my first and second playthrough, I noticed like no one fucking cares that Arthur's sick.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Yeah, everyone's
like,
just being self-aware.
There's like 3 people who actually like kind of acknowledge it. And, like, the rest who acknowledge it mostly just made fun of him. Like, Micah, refers to him as Black One. Dutch, all he ever says is, like, are you sure you can keep up? He never's like, hey, man, how you doing? Like, I've been with you for 25 years. Like, I hope you're okay.
Practically my son, but you're dying.
Practically my son.
Whatever, sounds like a you problem.
So instead, he just starts being like, are you sure you can keep up? Do I have to send Micah? Blah, blah, blah. John is the only one who showed like a little bit of compassion, because in the dynamite mission he's like, you sure you're okay? Like, and Arthur's like, don't worry about me, worry about your family. And he's like, no, but like, you're gonna be okay. And then like Sadie cares a little bit, but like no one else cares. Like no one gives a shit that the second in command for this entire gang, now the only one who's been there since the original days, besides obviously the leader, is just dying. They're all just kind of like,
not to mention, in Chapter 6, too, it hits Chapter 6, and it's like a switch is flipped where everyone's just an asshole to you for no fucking reason.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that was, like, because of cut content. Maybe there was supposed to be some sort of parabola to it, like, where they're like, oh, they're starting to be dits, and they're total dits. Like, something like that, but...
It was just very sudden.
Like, literally, I noticed after Guarma that, like, the switch is flipped. Like, you get sick, and then all of a sudden, everything's different. Like, totally different. And I know, I feel like part of it is a story way of where they're trying to subtly show the effects of, like, people no longer trusting Dutch. And if you've looked up to this person for so long and now you can't trust them, you start to, fall back on yourself. But, like, I just find it a little jarring. I'm like, no one gives a shit.
It definitely is.
Like, Eagle Flies gives more of a shit. Or, not Rains Falls gives more of a shit about Arthur's sickness than Dutch does.
Yeah.
And they just met.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bizarre. So bizarre. But, I'm getting
no
hit
game
in
is
the feels.
perfect.
I'm getting that, and I'm still getting hit in the feels. I'm just like, man, my time's come. My time's come. I did the Charlotte fucking side quest.
Yeah.
I made sure to complete that 100%. I'm on the last Hamish one, which that's gonna be sad. Big sad. But
finishing up the Hamish quest and then like taking Buell into the last ride.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I have a horse I've had for a while. I might take instead, and I'll save Buell for John. So I'm thinking.
Well, when you transition, all your horses get deleted.
They do? I thought they...
Yeah.
He doesn't inherit... Fuck.
No, your horses get turned into glue.
Yeah,
That's
if you want
right.
to keep it as John, you have to wait.
You have to wait and do the mission as John.
What
That's
I
right.
learned in my 100% run that I never finished, what I learned is something important as well, is you can do all the treasure hunts as Arthur. All the gold bars you collect get removed from your inventory.
Really?
When you transition over.
Huh.
I guess that makes sense.
It's like you basically got robbed, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's kind of wild. What I have been doing on this playthrough is I've been reading all of the journal entries as they come. It's something I went out of my way to do.
Yeah.
And actually, surprisingly, it's one of the few games where like I feel like reading the stuff provides a shit ton of insight into the character. Like I did the last Mary Linton mission, and like I could just like sense this palpable dread in his writing where like Arthur was like, man, should I have just fucking left?
Yeah.
Like I should have just left. And like, why didn't I leave all those years ago? And it's like, man, that must be like trying to put yourself in those shoes is like, that's a shit situation.
Yeah.
To just be on the run your whole life. And then you're like, man, I could have made one decision and just been out of here.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
And he feels like he has to stay because he owes it to Dutch and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dutch is continually putting everyone in shitty situations.
Yeah. Dutch leaves him to die. So it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah, I didn't realize, by the way, the whole John and Arthur thing with the dynamite. The way they talk, I like, just now realized what they say. Like, where John and Arthur literally are like, we're going to steal from Dutch. I didn't even remember that being a subplot. Like, I forgot that from the first playthrough. Where Arthur's like, we could get that money for you, and then I could use a vacation.
Yeah.
But really, deep down, he knows he's pretty much dead. He's just trying to get it for John and Abigail and them. And I never realized that. I'm like, man, so that mission is like probably officially the like loyalty lost mission. Like that's where Arthur finally turns his back. It's fucking crazy, dude. Fucking crazy. It makes me want to replay Red Dead 1 again, even though I did like 5 months ago. But man, does it make me dislike Dutch. Not as a character. As a character, he's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But just as someone who's fucking screwing everyone else, I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
Shit sucks, man.
Yeah, he is one of those characters. It's like, in terms of a villain or like I guess a good guy turned villain. Once there's the turn, you can see like, oh yeah, this was a bit strange. You go back to all the actions and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's a fantastic villain in that respect. And then you can see the evolution happen, even though there's no like
gameplay and
there's no gameplay between, the end of Red Dead 1 or the end of Red Dead 2 and Red Dead 1 where you see Dutch. You can see the effects over time that have happened.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, even the end of Red Dead 2's epilogue, where you see Dutch, he already starts to portray those characteristics of what he has in Red Dead 1, so it's really just exacerbating that into his character. So it's such a good flow, but, yeah, man, it's just making me big sad all around.
Yeah.
All around, big sad. But Alex, have you played anything else, or Chris? Either of you? I know Chris was playing something.
I finished Ragnarok.
Yeah. I haven't yet.
Neither have I. Still, I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. Actually, probably after your house tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm about 12 hours in, I think.
Yeah, I think I was talking to you guys. I'm like 21-ish, so I'm probably near the end, at least according to like Chris's time.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna I probably have to play it again, but like it is definitely like a big contender of like this is better than Red Dead 2.
Yeah, Chris had told me that, and it actually surprised me. It did surprise me. Now,
surprised me too.
As someone who's replaying Red Dead 2 right now, it still holds that title. I'll see, like you had said to me, like I'll see when God of War Ragnarok ends. I don't think there's enough there to dethrone it for me personally, but maybe. I don't know how it ends, so we'll see if I'm like, holy fuck. But just like watching. It just so happens I'm playing these two games side by side. I'm like, oh, shit.
What I found is that in God of War 2018, there's still this barrier of like, oh, these are characters in that game. Like, you relate to them, you empathize with them, but like, oh, these are characters. That's a barrier that doesn't exist in Red Dead 2. You're like, oh, these are people.
This isn't a Norse god. This is a dude.
These are like
realistic.
people, and I get that feeling more so from Ragnarok than I did from the first
Yeah.
of
No,
the
for sure. I agree that they do humanize the characters a lot more.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the I don't want to say my biggest issue with Ragnarok. I don't have any issues with it, but my biggest thing that I'm a little like that's kind of turning me off of playing it is there's too much there. Like I thought 2018 was this nice little package where it's like it's linear, but it's not. But it is linear at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And like Ragnarok, obviously the story is linear unless something happens where it's not. But I've heard it is. But like I'll be in fucking Muspelheim, and then they're like, "Hey, you just unlocked the quest in fucking Svartalheim," and I'm like,
it's overwhelming.
"Oh, I'm gonna go all the way to Svartalheim." Fuck.
Yeah.
And like that stuff has kind of almost overwhelmed me in a way.
I haven't done any of it.
In that sense, where, especially in, I did a couple things in Vanaheim, and there's one quest that you do in Vanaheim, like a main quest, where it opens up side quests.
It opens like 4 of them.
And then I went to do the main side quest that you get, and it activated like 15 other side quests.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, that's great. Like, I like that there's a lot of content, but it is definitely overwhelming.
It's got that cyberpunk treatment. Not nearly as bad.
Oh, not nearly as
But it's
bad
got that
as
cyberpunk thing where it's like you do one mission, and then it's like, here's a side quest, here's a side quest, here's a side quest, here's a side quest.
Like, I went
Cyberpunk's more
there-
like, here's 50. But
I went there to do a quest with... I went there to do a quest that I had been putting off. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to finally do this. One of the side quests. And then I was on my way to the side quest, and it triggered an entirely different one in the same area.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking here on Steam. I beat God of War on the Steam Deck. I have 16.2 hours. That was a nice playthrough. That was like me kind of leisurely. And that was when I first got the Steam Deck. I was trying to enjoy the hardware and like make my way through the game, do the side stuff, but not all the side stuff, like not the Valkyries or any of that or armor pieces. Just do the story and focus on that and a little bit of side stuff. 16 hours. That was a nice appetite fulfilling gameplay. I'm at 21 with Ragnarok already, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, is this game gonna end yet?
Is it gonna end yet? Like, and I don't mean that in like a bad way, and it's very cynical of me to say, but
Well,
like
a lot of games are
then
just
Go ahead.
they're getting long for like no reason. I feel
Yeah.
like you don't have to have all this stuff.
And
Just because a game's short doesn't mean
I
it's
will
bad.
say the side quests are good in Ragnarok. They are, and like I have that same gripe with Red Dead 2 too, where there's like plenty of quests, where, like specifically in the beginning, like the Coulter chapter, where I'm like, I don't need to fucking learn how to break a horse. I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
But I get it. But like with Ragnarok, I'm like, yeah, these are cool. That's kind of the problem for me is they're all so good that I almost don't want to not do them. So like I know the solution is just do the main stuff then.
Yeah.
But like then I feel like I'm depriving myself of much needed like lore and character building and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's just like I'm fucking caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. But just I'm thinking strictly in terms of the main story.
It was enough.
It was a fantastic
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And it was such a different story. I mean, different in the terms of how the characters react, but it's a very similar, like, the elements from the first one are all there. Like, Kratos and Atreus have to set out on a journey that Kratos thinks Atreus isn't prepared for. They meet some new friends, and then some shit happens between Kratos and Atreus.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go beyond that because I don't know how far you are.
I'm in Vanaheim right now, right at the beginning.
Yeah, so you're not crazy far.
Yeah, so like it follows like the same sort of story beats, but there's like so much. The characters are so much more like there's so much more range to all the characters, especially Kratos. Like he has like a crazy range in emotion that he didn't have in the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I did like that. That was something I definitely embraced pretty heavily. It was like, I forget, I'm not going to say what, but I forget like where it was in the story. I think it was more towards like the middle of the beginning where there's like a specific thing that happens and Kratos like actually looks sad. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, when's the last time I've seen Kratos sad? Like he's always just like
And there's
pissed.
It just speaks volumes just in the little detail they changed that instead of referring to Atreus as boy and Mimir as head, he refers to him as Atreus and Mimir.
Yeah.
And he refers to people by their name. Instead of saying the dwarves, he says Brock and Sindri.
Yeah.
Like
It shows the growth.
It shows that, it's been a while, and he trusts all these people now.
Yeah.
And he sees them more as peers rather than tools like in the first game.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. That's super true because right out of the rip in the beginning of the game, like he keeps saying Atreus,
Even in some circumstances where like they're about to do something and they're trying to figure out a plan or something, or they're trying to figure something out, and Kratos will consult Mimir. Like, he'll talk with Mimir.
Yeah, put him down and like talk.
And be like, "What do you think about this, buddy?" He would not do that in the first one.
No.
They're like, "Shut the fuck up, Mimir." Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like consultation and like.
And it just shows
putting
how much.
Himself out there.
Same thing. He consults Atreus like right at the very beginning when you do. This isn't a spoiler. When you do the fight with Thor, because this is like
we already talked about it on the
2018.
podcast anyway too.
When you do the fight with Thor, when Thor shows up to the house initially, there's the shot behind Thor, and there's Kratos and Atreus standing out in front of the cabin, and Thor's like, "Let me in the house. I just want to have a conversation," and Kratos and Atreus have a brief conversation. It's not heard, like they whisper to each other.
Murmuring, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, so he's consulting his son now. He sees him more as an equal rather than like, oh, just an immature
Just listen
child.
to me and get the fuck out of here.
Listen to what I have to say because
Like
I
Baldur.
know better than you.
Like Baldur. Boy, get underneath the floor.
Yeah,
and he stuffs him in the floor.
And now a way more dangerous god shows up.
Way more dangerous.
A way more dangerous god shows up. And he's like, well, I gotta have my son here too, just in case something happens and we both have to like fight this fucking guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you even see it in combat too. And obviously that's less scripted, but like the combat moves that Atreus has too, there's a lot more of like, if Kratos does this, Atreus will do that. And it's supposed to show you like how they've trained together.
Oh, and there's like in a lot of the finisher, like the R3 kills.
Yeah.
There's like I think there's one in particular, one enemy where like Kratos will grab it and like expose its neck, and you hit square, and Atreus will shoot it.
It's the fucking lizard things.
Yeah, the big fucking lizard guys.
Yeah, one of those guys.
So it's interesting, and I really like that game. It's a very good game.
Yeah, no, super good game. I'm hoping Monday, tomorrow or Monday will be. I'm hoping the 2 days. Maybe go into your house, and playing it. To check out like your theater room will be enough to like spark me again. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I think I have a perfect solution, because what's holding me back, right, is like, I just want to be in the bedroom, but I don't want to play it on this TV. If I want anything, I want the portability. That's why I like 2018 on the Steam Deck so much. I'm like, I could just fucking cast it. I have a dedicated Wi-Fi extender thing now, that I got for VR. It's called D-Link or whatever. It's for Oculus. Wireless link or whatever. I could use that to have my own Wi-Fi channel from the PS5 to the fucking the Steam Deck. Like, I could totally stream it, but I think I'll be able to beat it Monday. I just gotta like nose to the grindstone and maybe not do all the side stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I like how I had like no nasal drippage
Until the podcast.
the entire day. I'm not even kidding. Like my sinuses were not bad the entire day, and the second I have to sit down in front of a camera and speak, just every fluid imaginable starts coming out of my nose.
Nice.
Every fluid that exists is now exiting my sinusal system.
Your sinusal system. So, Chris, I see an interesting note on there, which I think we could talk about right after you were talking about finishing Ragnarok.
Yeah.
About the PS5. Now, obviously, Alex, you don't have one, right?
No.
You're playing on PS4.
I've been playing on PS4.
And you were saying it runs actually pretty good.
Yeah, it does run well. The only time you really get lag is when you're on a boat, but who cares?
It's
like,
just
nothing's
traveling.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the PS5, okay, has like all this like mythos around it, okay? So it's fast, it's this, and it's fast.
Dude,
Yes,
loading
this is
up
true.
Ragnarok is crazy.
Here's the thing this is my thought that I formed in my head while playing the game. It looks fantastic and it runs fantastic, but as all this like hype around like the SSD and the technology that was made there, the loading times are still longer than I thought they would be. I'm not saying they're long. I'm not saying that's bad.
Just longer than
They're
you
longer
thought.
than I thought they were gonna be.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna speak from because your note specifies after finally playing a PS5 game.
Yeah, because like I hadn't played anything on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say two things, two points. Point number one, which is it really doesn't mean much, but it's a cross-gen game, so there's that. So anytime there's a loading screen, they have to find a way to make that same loading screen, like for example, using the 9-realm transportation, work on PS4 and PS5. And you see that a lot in the fact that in 2018, the characters would go in there and just be silent. In Ragnarok, they talk the entire fucking time until the portal appears. I think that's a way of making the PS5, which could have easily been like, and we're there, work. The game that work on PS5 and PS4 while not making a PS4 player look at a fucking loading screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's that. The other part of it I would say is I don't think the SSD hype is correct. I think the hype was around loading times, like you said, but I think it translated more into gameplay. Like, for example, I'll use another game that I don't think you've played because you said that's the only one, so obviously you haven't. Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. That game's loading times were whatever. They were just like Ragnarok. But in the game, you could seamlessly transport between like multiple realms without a loading screen. That was like the SSD working its magic. So I do agree with you. Like the whole loading screen thing, like if you boot up Red Dead 2, it still takes like fucking a decade to load. But that's just because it's old code, you know?
Yeah, it's just that
it's not exactly what everyone made it sound like.
Yeah, like I said, there was all this mythos around it, and it's
Yeah.
just not what I expected it to be. And I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm still very impressed.
What I will say is if you want a game with no loading screen, if I remember correctly, because I haven't played it in a long time, but I think...
Because I was thinking about this while playing the game, is the amount of loading screens that exist in games now is like, there's virtually none.
Yeah, a lot of
Usually,
them are
yeah.
hidden
Yeah.
A lot of
through
games now,
actions or through something else that you don't notice.
like, in terms of starting the game, there's a loading screen to get into the game.
Maybe booting your save as well.
But in terms of, like, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Getting
Oh, yeah,
into, like, gameplay, there will be a loading screen.
Yeah.
But beyond that, usually there isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually there's no loading screens, like, in the middle of gameplay, where I remember playing, like, Skyrim. There's so many fucking loading
Every door.
screens.
Yeah.
You look at a door the wrong way, and there's a loading screen. You go into the shopkeeper, there's a loading screen. You exit the shop, there's a loading screen.
Yeah.
And, you know, games now have very few loading screens in general. So I am, like I said, I'm not
Dissing it,
unimpressed.
yeah.
I'm not disappointed. It's still very fast,
Yeah.
but it's not as much as I thought.
What you need to do is play Returnal and use the PlayStation card system. That will actually probably impress you because that game, you can literally, like, boot out of the game, go right back into the game, like, reboot the system. It'll say, return to where you were. You hit the button, and it practically goes zoom in, zoom out, and you're just fucking there, like, in the game. It used to, anyway. I don't know if they've updated it or whatever. I know they're making that game for PC, actually. It's coming out, I think, in January, or maybe even later. But that game, that was the one game that impressed the fuck out of me with loading times because it was like, I would get annoyed sometimes because there was tips. And I'd be like, I couldn't fucking read that. Like, why'd you do that to me?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that
Yeah.
to me? God of War does that. Ragnarok does that in the PS5. I'm like, there's a tip. I'm like, cool. Oh, I can't read it. Okay.
I think what would change, or like what would put it into better perspective, is if I played it again on PS4.
Yeah.
Because I used to feel the same way I felt the same way about like SSDs in computers. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's mildly faster, sure.
Yeah, I can boot into Windows a little faster. You know?
And then I had the displeasure of using Windows 10 on a hard drive. Windows 10 needs an SSD to work.
Needs, yes.
Yeah.
Because the last time I had Windows installed on a hard drive was Windows 7. Mm-hmm. And that was built for hard drives.
Yeah, it was fine.
Because SSDs were, at the
Expensive.
time, when they first came out, didn't exist. And when, like, the middle of its lifespan, when SSDs did exist, they were so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So, like, why the fuck am I going to buy this? It makes no sense. And then, now, like, Windows 10 needs an SSD to work.
You cannot even try to run that
It is
shit.
unusable without an SSD. So I think if like I played another game on like PS4, like if I still had my base PS4 and I played like a game on there, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like if you
I
played
think
Ragnarok,
the
yeah.
obfuscation of loading screens in the God of War games in general was really well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still not as impressed as I thought I would be.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Returnal would be a good one. And then as we go forward, like I think Spider-Man 2 is going to be a fucking crazy one. Because that's supposed to be PS5 exclusive. It's not coming to PS4.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be insane trying to fucking play it. Because even the last one, Miles Morales, that was PS5 and PS4. And, like, you didn't notice the load. Like, you noticed the load time only in the sense of, like, when you hit continue on the main screen, you were just, like, there. It, like, didn't even finish the soundtrack and you were there. And
You know, that's an interesting thing, is the cross-gen games. the last generation of consoles, and I understand this is like a supply chain thing. How much crossover was there in the last gen? I feel like we got like maybe 6 months, 8 months
Maybe
of
6
games.
months. Now we're going on 3 years.
And now it's
Yeah.
like 3 years of games that are cross-platform because no one can get hardware.
Yeah. It's because it makes more sense now to develop for the old hardware than it does to develop the new hardware, because literally,
No one has
if you
it.
release Call of Duty right now for just Series X and PS5 and then obviously PC, your market completely changes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
because,
too segregated.
Yeah, people don't have, like...
I will
could
say-
get, like, PS4s, like... Shortly after they came out, you could just buy them at the store.
Yeah.
They were at the store. Now, I genuinely... Like, I don't go to the electronics section very often, but, like, anytime I've been there, there have never been PlayStations on the shelf.
Only
I've seen,
Series
I've
S's.
seen Series X's because no one fucking wants those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have only met like one person who had a Series X. I see them on the shelf, but I don't think I've ever seen a PS5 on the shelf.
Yeah, you can you can find the Series S really regularly. Sometimes the Series X, but if you're looking for a PS5, they are in stock right now. Go buy one, bitch, from Sony directly.
So it's
I don't have a reason to buy one because like I don't think I'm gonna play much on it.
Yeah,
I'm
besides
not gonna go
Ragnarok.
spend like how
No,
much
it
is
totally
it?
makes
Top
sense.
of
It's
the line
like I think
PS5?
it's like $5.79.
Yeah, I'm
for
not
the
doing-
bundle because it's a God of War Ragnarok bundle.
It totally makes sense. I understand that. Like I didn't have my PS4. I sold my PS4.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to buy the PS5, so I fuck it. Let me just get this.
Yeah,
And
and the
the-
Spider-Man 2 will come out eventually, and you'll use it for that.
And I'll play probably 5 games total over the entire course of the console's lifespan, and then I'll sell it.
Yeah. What you should
Yeah.
do is you should definitely, I don't think you have, I don't remember you telling me you did. You should play Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, I never played
I've heard
yet.
that might be getting a port to PC though. Like there's been, I think
have-
GeForce Now leaked it, so I'm fucking praying.
I
that it does.
have 0 loyalties whatsoever. Like I don't give a shit about like the collectability of consoles or whatever. Like I'm not gonna keep a console longer than I have to. I will use the console to its fullest, and then when I'm done with it, I will just get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I've been doing. Like my Xbox 360 I had. I used that, and then I got my PC, and I immediately got rid of my Xbox.
Yeah.
My PS4, I played the like 3 games on it that I
Red
wanted
Dead
to
and
play,
a couple other things, yeah.
and Spider-Man and shit, and then like I got rid of it. So the PS5 is gonna be the same way, but there's still games gonna be coming out for the next foreseeable future.
Probably
5
like 7,
years.
8 years, yeah.
Well, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
this generation is probably gonna be a lot longer as well.
I'm imagining it's going to
They
draw
get
on-
longer and longer every time. I feel.
Well, that's I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Or maybe
because
going forward, at least they will
I
be.
think they will start to get a bit longer because it was such a jump in hardware.
Yeah.
Between the PS4 and PS5, the generation for the 360 PS3 era was like 05 to like 2013, so it was like 8 years. And then the last generation was 13 to
2020, it was 7 years,
so it was
yeah.
7 years. But I think this one's probably going to be like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be like 10 because it was such a leap in hardware, number one. And number two, people aren't going to be able to reliably get these fucking things until like probably 2025.
Yeah. Plus, last gen set the precedent of mid-gen upgrades. PS4 Pro, Xbox One X.
That
So I
also
think
is
that's
true.
what you're gonna see first. I think you're gonna see PS5 Pro or whatever,
Yeah.
and then Xbox Series X2 or fucking some stupid
Which
shit.
is
X
like-
squared, brother.
Yeah, which is like crazy because the way that console performs, like I don't see a reasonable upgrade path.
Yeah. Literally only like if they can somehow make it do 144 hertz on all the games. Like I don't know. I don't see.
But if you're
the
playing it
SSD
on a
is
TV, you're not going to have 144.
well, they would market it towards people who aren't
Well,
playing
yeah.
on a TV.
Yeah, I guess, but
Because they're not. They're also probably not anticipating a PS5 Pro to outsell the base PS5. You know.
yeah.
So like I don't know. It's tricky because the next gen consoles already have the best SSDs that are out there pretty much. Like
Oh, and in terms of storage, I can see
tracing.
that being an upgrade because
It's
it
pitiful.
only
I'm
has
guessing.
like
675 gigabytes.
675 gigs.
But it's also so
Which is
dumb
like such
easy
a
to
fucking
upgrade.
oddly specific number.
Yeah.
But it's easy to upgrade, sure. But like
It's ridiculous that you have
I'm
to.
a dumb caveman. I want to buy a box, put it on the TV, and have it store all my games.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the market they have to appeal to with consoles. It's
Ultimately.
like this is a child or a 60-year-old man who wants this thing to put He wants to put the box next to the TV and he wants it to play video games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the Series X does have a leg up. From a technical person's side, like my point of view, PS5 has it all over it because I'll tell you right now, Xbox sells 1 terabyte memory cards
Yeah, they have, like,
for
memory-
like
memory
$120,
cards, yeah.
right? But I was able to get a Samsung NVMe drive with a heatsink that's 2 terabytes for like $200, and I put it in no problem. So for me, PS5 has it all over it. But for your average user, I do feel like Sony should have maybe just gone the memory card route because like that's gonna resonate with the older crowd. Like my brother seeing a memory card, even if he didn't know as much as he does about computers, would go, "Oh, memory card like PS2."
Yeah, I take the little box and I plug it into the big box,
Or like
and I
fucking-
get more room for my
Like the
games.
fucking Sega Game Gear or whatever the fuck it was, the Genesis or whatever, where it had all those fucking fucking attachments. You could stack it like this high. Like that resonates with the older crowd. You know, like Giraffe Man talks about fucking Sega Genesis all the time and how he had all these mods and he would stack it up and you had a Genesis like this tall. Like that would resonate with the elderly like him.
The elderly.
Like him and our elderly coworker who from now on I think we should refer to as Booms.
Booms.
I think that'll be his
All right.
podcast name. Booms.
You know,
So
moving away from consoles, we've been some technical boys today.
we're a bit of technicians. Also,
I'm a bit of a technician.
I don't know if you guys have your phones on you, but the group chat's been going
Yeah,
wild.
I keep feeling my
Has
freaking
it?
watch
Going
buzzing like every
wild.
half second.
Oh, I have.
What is that?
Look at that face, dude.
What? The
Look at
cat?
that thing.
Yeah.
Are you having a stroke right now? Are you okay?
Look at that face.
I have no service. So so basically Jordan's home address.
Is Little. Bro, actually, speaking of Little, dude, one of my Patrick Star YouTooz broke the other day, and I just about blew my brains out.
My microplastics.
How did it break?
My mom got me a gag gift for Christmas. She got me a fucking Spider-Man clock, and I was like, I'm gonna respect this gag gift as what it is.
Can you stop fucking
I
punching
keep
the mic? This is like the
trying to
eighth
fix.
time you've done this.
I keep trying to fix my glasses and I keep
Stop
smacking
punching your
it.
glasses.
No, they
Take
slide
them off.
down.
Wear contacts like a
No.
normal person.
Oh, man. My
Fuck
mom got
you.
me this fucking Spider-Man wall clock, and I was like, I'm gonna respect this gift. I'm gonna hang this up. And it immediately fell off the wall, took out like sits in my YouTooz. I picked them up, and then yesterday I'm working from home. I look in this little trash can that I bought for our office, and there's 2 YouTooz in there, and I'm
See,
like,
this is the
fuck.
reason. This is the reason you don't buy plastic garbage.
yeah, I'm fucking pissed.
This is it literally has nothing to do with the fact that it's YouTooz that fell
Yeah.
down. I just I can't stand dumbass little plastic figurines. I can't fucking stand them, and I can't quite explain why. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm mad at this, but I don't know why.
I think you just dislike Jordan. I think that's it.
That's not true, though.
No,
you
I
know?
think that's
not true.
I
I
mean,
think
he's
there's
only
some deep-seated like
126 weeks.
resentment here.
I feel
maybe.
like
Maybe he's jealous of the YouTooz. Maybe you should get him a few. Maybe we should get him some. Maybe he wants some.
Maybe.
I don't want YouTooz.
You say that,
Alice,
but you know.
wouldn't it be wicked funny if we just bought a shit ton of YouTooz and just brought them one week?
Yeah. I'll
They
sneak
weren't
into
so-
your house in
You
the
would
middle
just be
of the night.
wasting
If they-
your own
Right?
money.
If
I'll
they-
sneak into his house and I'll place them all around him. That way he wakes up and there's hundreds of them in his room.
That would be so expensive. Fuck.
I would never speak to either of you again. I would never speak to either of you.
That might be
again.
worth it.
This sounds like a win-win. Yeah, I mean, every 100 is only $3,000. So.
These
So-
things are way too expensive, man.
Yeah,
They
that's
are.
also the part of the issue I have.
Oh,
with it.
just 3D print them. There we go.
So
I got a
anyway,
3D printer.
before we
Lose it.
before we cut 18 minutes of footage
Yeah.
to address group chats and whatnot, I said that I wanted to switch topics, okay? Because we've been pretty technical.
Okay.
I have a fucking bone to pick with Chipotle Mexican Grill.
Okay.
What has Chipotle done to you?
I'm about to explain.
If
okay?
you just shut
if
the
you
fuck
would,
up.
If you would open your fucking ears for
Why
a minute
even
and let
invite me if you're
speak.
just gonna fucking berate me, huh? I try to ask a question, to just lead into his response, and I just get shit on. I'm fucking sick of this,
That's why he
I'm
wasn't.
done.
That's why he wasn't on the last 23 episodes.
He just got pushed over the edge.
So, last night, I went to Chipotle to get a Chipotle burrito because I was hungry.
As you would.
As humans often do get hungry, I was hungry. So I'm going to go get a
Chris
Chipotle
more often
burrito.
than some.
And that's very evident. Chipotle, like every other fast food place, has an app.
Yeah.
Chipotle's app sucks, but it's way better than like any other fast food app I've used. But the competition's not very fierce.
Yeah.
So I had no issues with the app. I order in the app all the time. Because when you order in the app, you set up your time, you show up, you walk into the restaurant, and there's this shelf.
Yeah.
And you find the bag with your name on it, you take it and leave.
It's like Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah.
You don't
It's
have
like the kindergarten cubby shelf.
Yeah,
where
you
put
don't
your
have to
lunch
fuck
boxes.
around
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
I'm
They
picking
put
up-
your little name on there.
I don't have to fuck around with like, oh hi, I'm picking up an order for Chris. Okay. Or like running through a drive-thru and be like, this is my order code, like you have to do with McDonald's or whatever, right? You walk in, grab your shit, and leave.
Yeah. No one even knows you were there.
Here's the thing. Last night, I scheduled my order to be ready at 7:40.
All right.
7:40 p.m. Not a.m. 7:40 p.m. I get to the restaurant at like 7:42.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in. There's one bag on the shelf. I'm like, this bag is way too big to be mine. I looked at it, not my name. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to wait. Because this has happened. It happened sometimes.
They just fell behind. Yeah.
Yeah, they get busy. Shit happens, whatever. I'm not one of these fucking people who, like, start screaming at people for no fucking reason. Oh, my order's 3 minutes late. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking care, right? I'll just wait. And then I'm waiting and waiting. It's been like 10 minutes. I'm like, this is getting a little ridiculous.
Now I'm getting annoyed.
Now I'm getting mildly perturbed. Like, I'm not gonna go yell at a minimum wage worker, but like
You're gonna ask.
I'm gonna like ask. But there was someone else at the counter who asked for their order, and they got their order. It was behind the counter, so the guy who stepped out from behind the counter, I said, "Hey, I have an order too. I don't know if it's ready, because it's not on the shelf." And I gave him my name. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's ready." What happened to the shelf? That's the whole point of having the shelf in the first place.
Yeah.
The whole point of having the shelf in the first place is I don't have to look at your stupid face and interact with you.
Yeah.
Okay? I want to avoid interacting with people. Okay? This is why I like this restaurant so much. Because I can walk in, grab my shit, and leave. I don't have to talk to anybody or look at anybody.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I grabbed my order, and I didn't say anything to the guy. I was just like, "Yeah, thanks." And I walked out the door, and I like pushed the door open. I go, pushed the door open, and out loud I went, "So much for the fucking shelf." I was so mad.
Was this also this? No, this was a different instance. Was it with the old man who was in the way while you were trying to get your food?
No, this was when I went to get lunch last week for work. We picked up from a restaurant, and it's like this local place where it's always fucking staffed, or it's always stacked with old people.
Not the one right near our work.
It's right, the one right near. It's that one.
Yeah.
It's always old people there.
Yeah, it is. I went there once
And
with Giraffe Man.
I ordered our lunch there, and I went to go pick it up, and there was a guy standing at the register, who, I'm not even joking, was like the oldest person I've ever seen in my entire life. He had to be pushing triple digits and maybe even quadruple digits. He was so fucking old, and he had no idea what was going on. And I was standing there behind him while he was like trying to pick out scratch tickets. And he was having a conversation with the girl at the counter. And you know how talking with old people is. It's like,
Yeah.
and then the person responds like, "Yeah, Mr. Johnson, I agree," because the fucking guy can't
Get
hear.
that megaphone.
Yeah, so it was that, and then he was done with whatever it was he was doing, but he was still standing there, and the girl at the counter addresses me and says, "Hey, you have an order, right?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to pick up my order. This is what my order is. And she goes, "Okay, good," and we performed this transaction
Over the old guy.
through this old man. Like, I had to hand my card around this old guy. She swiped it, did the whole 9, handed it back, and then handed my food, like, over his head. I was like, what is happening right now? What fucking dimension have I entered?
People
You're into
have
the dementia
no,
dimension.
no self-awareness.
Especially old people. I hate the elderly. And I'm not talking about the elderly as in the elderly guy we make fun of, because he's not elderly. I'm talking about people who are, like, 80. get off this earth immediately.
They're working on it.
They're getting there.
Yeah.
This is the thing, is like, I don't want to sound cruel, but like, people getting in my way and inconveniencing me really irritates me. Yeah. I don't want to sound cruel, and I'm being tongue-in-cheek, being half serious. I feel like I don't specify that enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also in context that we all know. I think you said your dad was like 60-something, so you don't really want people like 80 to die because he's close to that category. Yeah. He's not exactly that far off. Same with my dad. My dad's 62.
I'm being facetious here, but still, don't be a fucking nuisance in public in general.
Yeah.
I try not to be. I make good effort not to be. And I feel like everyone else needs to make that effort.
Yeah.
I got bad news for you about the shelf, by the way. I think something happened with the shelf. Like, I think this is like a conspiracy where, like, someone stole from the shelf or something. Because Buffalo Wild Wings did the same thing. You would order. You'd find a nice little bag that says, Jordan, Chris, whatever, your name on it. You fucking pull it off. You leave. Yeah. When we ordered the other day, the same exact thing happened. We went in, we're like, shelf's empty. We sat there for literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I asked, and the lady goes, oh, yeah, and pulls it from behind the counter. And I don't think that's the same parent company, Chipotle and Buffalo Wild Wings. Maybe it is. But maybe. I don't know if something happened with the shelf. Maybe it's not allowed anymore. I don't fucking know.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because I was thinking about that exact situation the other day. Last time I got Chipotle, I was like, hey, I walk in here every week. As I go to Chipotle, I make it a tradition. I've been eating Chipotle on either Friday or Saturday night every day or every week for like the last 3 years.
Friday or Saturday night, every day. That's funny.
If I ate at Chipotle every day, I would be bankrupt. Yeah. I'd be homeless.
And probably dead.
Because like my Chipotle order, just because of how much more expensive everything's gotten, it went from like $13 to now it's like $24.
Jesus.
So anyway.
Got a nice text here, by the way. Just have to throw this out here from my colleague. He says he loves Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's good.
For the win. I told him he would.
So, I thought about this exact thing, and I was like, I go in here, like, every week, and I grab my thing off the shelf, and I don't say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
What is stopping me from just grabbing whatever bag is there?
Absolutely nothing.
Because it's already paid for, so they don't question you when you walk in and take the bag. You have to pay in the app.
Yeah, you just walk in and grab it.
If the payment doesn't go through, they interrogate you at the store. I jest. My payment didn't go through one time, and they were like, your payment didn't go through. You gotta pay. Like, okay, Christ. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good for it. I have I swear. Don't break my legs.
Me. Yeah. Fucking mob boss comes on the back. He's like, hey, Vinny.
Okay. Fucking guy with a comedically large cigar comes out of the back.
He's like, come on back here.
And he puffs this cigar like 5 times, and he puts it out on your neck.
He's like, you're my bitch now. Hey, Vinny.
He takes out his comedically large Tommy gun, and he shoots you 37 times.
Yeah. But, yeah, same thing with Dunkin' Donuts. They just put it on the counter. I'm like, I could just be like, I ordered all these coffees.
Yeah.
Same thing with Starbucks to some extent. When you order, even just ordering at the register, they put it on like the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just
just come up and take it. So I could just take other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that because I don't want whatever other people ordered. I want what I ordered.
Yeah.
But if you're like desperate for food, little life hack.
Little life hack.
Little unethical.
You know that TikTok trend that's like, they don't know I know this. And then they do something.
And it's always something out of pocket.
Yeah, that's the same thing. They don't know I know this. He runs in, grabs all the food, runs out the door.
Yeah. They don't know I know this life hack. And it's always like something like that, like some egregious act of theft, or it's like, I have a gun or something like that.
My favorite one was the car dealership one where he's like, yeah, unfortunately you've been declined for blah, blah, blah. And he goes, they don't know I know this life hack. I have a gun. And then it cuts. That's great. Oh, it's so funny.
So let's get a bit focused here. We were straying a bit. So
Chipotle, you don't like them. You're pissed. You're upset. But you're gonna be there next week.
You're boycotting.
I'm boycotting them for 7 days. I will be there next week.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying. It's annoying. The whole shelf system is a perfect system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a system that I, benefit from greatly. I think it's something that's important to have in society. And I don't understand why they're doing away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a status update. Maybe we'll do an investigation episode. We'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings and Chipotle in the same day in mobile order and see if the shelf is being used.
What we'll do is we'll sit outside Because at least at the Chipotle I go to, you can see the whole front is windows, and you can see directly to the
Binoculars.
shelf. So we'll sit like in the back of the lot, and we'll like do this with binoculars, and we'll look to make sure they're stocking the shelf. And they're like, okay, it's been like 3 hours. A bunch of customers have come in, and they haven't put a single order on that shelf. And then we go, it's like an episode of Bar Rescues, like during the recon, where John Taffer and whatever goon he has with him, they go, okay, we're going to go into this restaurant now. And they burst through the door, and they start screaming at people. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
What happened to the shelf?
Yeah.
Where's the shelf at? And they would just recognize me immediately because I'm always there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're the fat guy.
You're the one who got pissy and said something about what the hell happened on the shelf last week.
It's so much so, I hate when people recognize me at restaurants. It annoys me. It's like, when it's the workers, I mean. Because I went to Chipotle before this, like, 3-year-long stint of getting it once a week. Mm-hmm. I went to Chipotle. They knew my order when I got there. And I was like, I can't come back to this place. I didn't go to Chipotle for like 6 months after that.
Yeah. The Dunkin' Donuts near our work, there was one girl specifically who I would pull up, and she must have seen the Cobalt on the camera, and she would just go, yep, you're all set. I'm like, all right. I'd pull right up, get my thing, it's good to go. Now there's a girl now who I showed up with the Cobalt a couple times, and she started to do that, and then I showed up with the Yaris, and when she just looked at me, she goes,
who the fuck is
she was
this
like,
guy?
did you get another car?
You got a twin?
She was like, did you get a different car? I'm like, yeah.
No, I'm a different guy.
I was like, I'm a different guy. She's like, I didn't tell you who I was talking about. I'm like, yeah, I'm different though.
Yeah.
Oh, you might be thinking of my friend or my twin, Jordan. No, I'm boarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Yarden. This is my yard.
Yarden.
And I'm like, no, I got this car to learn to drive stick. And I honestly felt like I had a Fiesta ST Harbor Freight moment or whatever the fuck it was, O'Reilly's. Where like,
it was Harbor Freight.
I'm like, yeah, I bought this to drive stick. And she's like, oh, here, take this and get the fuck out of my drive-thru.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
I think.
I just had to go ahead.
I think
Chris is gonna love this one.
women in minimum wage jobs, they don't have the respect for cars that everyone else does.
Yeah.
You know,
Chris.
I think you should respect our shitty cars. You know, and I'm not emasculated or angry at all at this interaction that happened.
Dude, I had an encounter the other day. I can't believe I didn't tell you guys about this at work. It just like all fucking PTSD flashback to me in the face. Like a fucking
Yeah, I
flashbang.
saw it happen.
Dude, went to Walmart, right?
Oh, that was your first
I'm driving the
mistake.
Yaris. There's a slight incline in this parking spot. First of all, I come in, I'm cruising, and I'm fucking coasting, just out of gear. I'm like, all right, I'm going to whip into the spot and then stop. And there's a bitch standing there with a carriage. There's like fucking 3 bitches standing there. 2 of them with a carriage, and then one's like a little girl. She's sitting in the trunk.
3 bitches. This little girl, a bitch.
So now I have to pull in but stop so that they see me, so they move. And then I have to actually go in gear and pull up this hill slightly. Now, Chris, you know this as well as I. I suck at everything. So,
I'm aware.
So here I am. I'm like,
I've seen you in action.
I've talked about this on the podcast numerous times where Giraffe Man told me this, and it makes total sense. In a manual, you have to commit. Now, the problem is I can't commit because there's a child in front of me. So if I commit a little too aggressively,
You're gonna kill
the
him.
child's going to die.
Yeah.
So I have to be like weird mode where I'm kind of like this with the clutch and the gas, and I rev the car like a lot, right, to get it going. This lady, if looks could kill, if we had Old Testament times, she would have pulled out a 12 gauge, stuffed it up my ass, and shot my fucking head off my shoulders.
I feel like I piss people off doing that a lot too, because especially where I go to school, it's a highly like trafficked pedestrian area because people are trying to get to class and shit. It's like a very heavily college populated area of the city.
Yeah, which means they're all looking at their phones anyway.
So
now they're really ignorant.
When I need to like, you know, do that exact thing, oh, my fucking jaw just popped. That's cool. Maybe I get like TMJ or something.
Halfway through next episode.
Every time I have to do that, I have to like creep up or something like that.
Yeah.
I always think like, oh, these people think I'm an asshole.
He's just like,
because, you know, 90%. I'm not even pulling that out of my ass. It's legitimately a statistic. 90% of people don't drive manual, and they can't.
Or know how, yeah.
So I imagine it's a greater percentage than 10 that know how, but it's 90% who don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like probably 70% of people just don't understand how it works. Yeah. So they just think I'm being an asshole. There was one time I was on my way home from work, and I was driving the F-150.
Oh,
This
boy.
was before the exhaust leak happened.
Oh, that would have been even worse.
And
Jesus.
I was on my way down the road, and there was someone walking on the side of the road, and I had to downshift because I was getting toward a stop sign. So I downshifted. I scared the fuck out of this person because all of a sudden they see a truck, and then they hear,
Did you blip the throttle the downshift?
well, yeah, because it's got manual throttle body, so I don't have to blip it as much as the Fiesta.
Yeah, you just started.
Yeah, you have to breathe on it. The Fiesta, what I
Mash
do
it.
is I put it to the floor for half a second, and
Yeah.
that's enough revs to get me where I need to go.
Yeah.
The F-150, I tried to do that exact thing, and it's way too much revs.
Yeah.
So I scared the fuck out of this person. So, driving manual, it's scary for other people around you, and you piss people off.
Dude, I literally, this lady, I did that. She literally was, in the trunk, and she just went, and just stared at me, dude. And I got out. I got out, and I said, it's a manual transmission. Sorry about that. And she just went, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right, yeah, fucking bitch. Fucking smack the shit out of you. Be like, shut up.
Well, I think...
Fucking jerk, making fun of me. Because
To
literally,
that-
I was like, I revved it so high by accident.
To the
It's so
point
funny.
of you have to commit, like you were saying a second ago. You do have to commit, but you also have to know how to commit.
Yeah.
Because if you commit like that, where you blip it way too high, or you rev it way too high, the car's gonna do exactly what you tell it to.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to tell it to do, you're
Yep.
gonna fuck something up.
Yeah.
So you have to commit, but you have to be ready to commit.
Yeah.
You have to know when to commit.
So, for example, in traffic, it's no big deal because you just wait for the car to move and then you go bloop, right out. But on this little hill, I had a short run. I had to let out the clutch enough to grab, give it gas, and then immediately clutch in brake to stop. So that's the problem with committing is I couldn't commit at all. There is no room to commit. So I did fucking one of these. I had foot on the brake, clutch. I went half out, hit the gas, let out, gas in the fucking clutch at the same time. So it literally just pulled forward, but it revved. I have no fucking tachometer. I revved the shit way too high.
The way I deal with this, maybe not the best
Chris
for the
gets out
car.
and pushes it.
It's not mechanically sensitive, but I'm not particularly mechanically sensitive. I do the 2-foot dance where my clutch acts as a brake. Because I can get it to the friction point where
It doesn't roll.
it doesn't roll and it doesn't go forward. I don't do that for too long, but that's how I deal with things like that. I never get on the brake for things like that. I always do the 2-foot dance because I have I think it's something that comes with learning, and I haven't been doing this for a whole ton of time. So give you another few months, you'll pick it up. But it's you have to do the 2-foot dance. I'm doing this way because this is legitimately how it works. You have to and then you move up just a little bit. And it's a much more smooth motion than trying to do this two-stepping on the fucking...
So, tap dancing.
So
in the
I've been
car.
doing that recently. It fucking pains me to do, but I've been doing the little, it's catching, give it some gas, and roll, and then put it back in. It fucking pains me to do every time. Mostly because I don't have such a new car like yours. So I'm like, man, every extra bit of wear I'm putting on this clutch is just sooner to death for this fucking 240,000 mile piece of shit.
That. I mean, I do that on the F-150, and that has fucking no clutch left.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever.
There's really no dance to
The dance is I'm moving my foot fucking
You curl your toes or you uncurl them, and that's enough to
I
fucking...
do the SpongeBob driving test episode. Big toe. I fucking big toe on the clutch. That's what I do.
That's funny. But I think we're probably going to be a little shorter than normal, but we can...
Yeah, because we did take a slight break.
Yeah, but we could probably call it there, I think, right? Unless you have something.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's a good one. That was a good episode, boys. Some funny stuff going around the podcast today.
What better fucking jokes this?
Yeah.
My nasal issue is cleared up. I'm sure once we start the next episode, it's immediately going to happen again.
Chris is
It's
like, I'm
the,
feeling pretty good.
It's the ginger you're eating.
Eating?
Drinking. The
It's
ginger
this
ale.
Schweppes Zero Sugar Ginger
Yeah.
Ale, natural ginger flavor.
That's cleared you right out.
And with other natural flavors, caffeine-free, 12 fluid ounce, 355 milliliter.
It's cleared you out.
Maybe so.
Yeah, they don't tell Chris that the other natural flavors, it's just opioids.
The other natural
That's
flavor is
where-
fucking
yeah.
codeine.
That's what they replaced the sugar with.
Chris is like, yeah, I'm good for the podcast, yeah.
I
Are
don't
you
know, I feel
talking
like-
yet?
I feel like I would notice if it was codeine. I'd be like,
Probably.
Oh, man.
anyway, let's do an outro.
It's kicking in.
Yeah, that's the codeine.
So as always, you can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. Actually, you want to do it, Alex? Why don't you take
No,
over?
because I don't know it.
Come on. He doesn't listen. He's a sus listener.
Do you know it, Chris?
Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, or I'm missing.
Pocket Cast and the RSS
Pocket
feed
Cast,
all linked
that's what
below.
I was missing.
You can also
That's George's podcast app of choice. How could I forget?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. You can. That's his podcast app of choice.
Sorry, I was having a little giggle in the meantime, and I was trying to stifle it, but I couldn't quite do it.
And as always, you can contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. There's also YouTube, the comment section there. We have a video platform on YouTube and Spotify. Check us out. And according to our boss, Spotify podcasts don't have ads unless the creator turns ads on. It's not like music.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
don't even need a Spotify subscription, bitch. Just learn that.
Even without premium, they don't have ads?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
I just learned that from him the other day when I was talking to him. So, no excuses, bitch. All right, bye.